In this video, I'm going to talk about the perhaps downsides to being your own financial planner and some of the pitfalls that people have by doing financial planning themselves. Now, any of you who have been watching my videos or know me personally know that I do not believe that everybody needs a financial planner. There are lots of people who can do financial planning on their own and do it very successfully. They totally dig it. They're into it. They want to read about it. It's what they would spend their free time on. Those people should become financial planners, but in any event, they're doing it for their own families. So you don't have to hire a financial planner. However, when people do finally land in my office, and typically they're in their mid-50s, and typically they see one of two things happening: a kid going off to college and the price tag is way more than they expected, or they are now contemplating not working anymore and they know they're going to go from making money and saving it to not making it and spending it. And that's pretty terrifying. And so that's why they usually end up in my office. I will tell you, these are the mistakes or the things that I see most often that I think are the downsides to managing one's own portfolio and doing one's own financial planning. So the first one is a very popular one, and that is that individual investors on the whole are very emotional people, and they will make emotional decisions that actually hurt them in the marketplace. There is a Dalbar study that comes out every year, DALBAR, and it says almost every year that the individual investor does far worse than the index because when things start to go down, they get out and then they don't get back in to ride the wave back up. And so they end up hurting their returns over time. And so this is one of the things that a financial planner brings to the situation is I won't say an elimination of the emotional component, but certainly a much better management of it. So that's one downside to managing one's own money. The second one is the tax code. The tax code is changing all the time. It might make a lot of sense to put a lot of money into retirement accounts. It might make sense to put money elsewhere. There is a place to put your money to grow that is in a higher and best use scenario. And what is that for you? When you are working with a financial planner, we are staying on top of those kinds of changes, and we will encourage clients to make changes in their investments, in how they are making money, when they're taking deductions, in order to optimize what they have and pay less in taxes. The third mistake I see is that people buy products that they don't need or don't want, or are only buying them because their sister's cousin's, brother's, uncle's kid's cousin is selling it and they feel somewhat obligated. And so they buy these products and then they end up with them, and then they come into my office and they're like, what am I doing with this thing? And I'm like, I don't know. Why'd you buy it? And they're like, I don't know. And so now we have to figure out what to do with it next, which is usually solvable, but now you've spent money on a product that frankly you didn't need. The other thing that I see, the fourth, is that they stay in particular investments or in part of limited partnerships or whatever it might be entirely too long. What this concept is this concept of sunken costs. Like I've put so much time and so much energy in this, and I'm just waiting for it to return a profit or go back up in value or whatever it might be. And they just stay entirely too long when they should have cut bait a long time ago. And so we talk about those kinds of things in my office too. And the last big mistake that I see clients who have been doing things themselves come into my office with is that they have not been mindful of their fences. So the analogy that I use in my office is that we're raising a farm of cash cows here. You got to keep your cows, your money healthy, your investments healthy, and you need to make sure that you keep your fences in good repair, all of those things that you need to have in your life so that money doesn't leak out of your life in a way you don't want it to. And those are things like your estate planning, your reserve account, what do your insurances look like? Like this is a huge one right now in California with all the fires going on and mudslides and everything else. Like those are the things, what are you doing with your taxes? What are you doing with your investments? Like making sure that your fences are in good repair. And I often see fences in disrepair or in non-existence when they come into my office because they've been doing it themselves and they just didn't realize that these pieces were an important part of their own financial well-being. And so we get it fixed. Typically, it's not fatal, but these are things that could have been perhaps acquired earlier for cheaper or put into place before something went wrong. There's just any number of reasons why attending to these things sooner rather than later and with the help of a professional can actually improve your well-being financially over the long haul. So these are the reasons that I think people should employ a financial planner sooner rather than later. These are the reasons that I think doing your own work is potentially a pitfall and not great for your long-term financial success. And like I said, you don't have to hire a financial planner. It just might help you get where you want to go a little faster and with less trouble. I'm Jessica Lanning. Lanning Does Planning.